Hello, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. We have an emergency live stream because we have insane live breaking news. You're going to hear it here first. Senator Josh Hawley, who we all love from Missouri, has just released his whistleblower report a day after, the second assassination attempt. I don't think he was planning on releasing it today. You can see the date there, September 16th, whistleblower report, failures of the United States Secret Service in connection with the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. This is from the office of Josh Hawley, September 16th, 2024. Holy macadamia nut. This is huge. So I'm going to go through this. It's 22 pages. So Senator Hawley just released this. It details the failures of the United States Secret Service in connection with the July 13th attempted assassination. The Hawley Report findings are highly damaging to the credibility of the Secret Service and the DHS. So Mayorkas, this implies the director, the former director, Kimberly Cheadle, who advocated for DEI. I've said this so many times, I can't even tell you how many times I've said this, that DEI kills, and it almost came within inches, millimeters of killing probably the only person left who can save our republic, in my mind's view. It's definitely not Kamala. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely not Mitt Romney. It's definitely not any other Republican candidate I can see out there. They are trying to get rid of this guy. It is becoming abundantly clear. Strap in, folks. Get your favorite beverage. Get your popcorn, because we've got a doozy for you today. So let's just read this. I literally just got this report. Literally, it just came out like minutes ago. I'm going live right now. I haven't even, read the entire thing yet. I am literally doing this live. Come on in. Make sure if you haven't already, because we want to get as many people exposed to the truth. That's what this channel is all about. Our mission is to get the truth. On July 13th, 2024, this is the executive summary. So it's 22 pages long. This will probably take us about 20, 25 minutes to go through it. I can't wait to read your comments. Let's just get into it. On July 13th, 2024, President Donald J. Trump, I'm going to even go a little bit more on the Zoom. And let me just back up a little bit here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold your horses. You're okay. Don't worry about a thing. We're okay. Okay, so we have on July 13th, 2024, former President Donald Trump, this is what we got right here. Former President Donald Trump was nearly killed by an assassin's bullet while hosting a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the U.S. Secret Service failed to prevent it. It was the most stunning breakdown in presidential security since the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. Those are pretty bold words right there. Following this catastrophic failure, the Secret Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Department of Homeland Security, that is headed by Mayorkas, who a lot of people think should have resigned a long time ago. He's also in control of the worst border crisis we've seen in the history of our country, have all tried to evade real accountability. By the way, before I go on, think about this. This is absolutely huge. Think about this. Nobody has been held accountable. Not one person has been held accountable. Not one person has been fired. We had Kimberly Cheadle, who resigned voluntarily. She wasn't terminated. So guess what? For her botched performance, for her failure to protect our president, and for her to adopt woke ideologies like DEI, which almost got him killed, and probably God knows how many other people, she gets to keep her health care benefits. She gets to keep her pension. And guess who pays for that? Bada boom, bada bing. You guessed it. You and me. That's who gets to pay for that. Can you believe it? No accountability. These agencies and their leaders have slow-walked congressional investigations, misled the American people, and shirked responsibility. In response, Senator Hawley personally visited the Butler, Pennsylvania rally site to interview whistleblowers, opened up a whistleblower tip line, and encouraged those with relevant information to tell their stories. And that's kind of the byproduct of this investigation and him opening up those whistleblower hotlines. Since then, many individuals have come forward with information regarding the events of July 13th from the Secret Service, DHS, and local law enforcement, as well as private citizens. The resulting findings are highly damaging to the credibility of the Secret Service and DHS. By the way, really quickly, if you're watching this on the replay, let me know where you're joining from, what city, what state, what country. Put a TR, capital TR in the comments. And then also, this is for everybody watching, replay and live. Are we surprised? Are we really surprised by this? Is anybody surprised by the dereliction of duty of these agencies? I would love to hear from you guys right now. Let me know in the comments, okay? They reveal a compounding pattern of negligence, sloppiness, and gross incompetence that goes back years. Oh my God. All of which culminated in an assassination attempt that came inches from succeeding. Chief among them are, okay, here it goes. Here comes the juicy stuff, y'all. The Secret Service's Counter Surveillance Division, which performs threat assessments of event sites, did not perform a typical evaluation of the Butler site and was not present the day of the rally. Why in the world was it not present on the day of a rally when you have a former president of the United States and someone who is highly likely to be the 47th president of the United States? Mayorkas needs to resign like yesterday. Bullet point number 2, Secret Service personnel declined multiple offers. Can you believe this? Multiple offers from a local law enforcement partner to deploy drone technology, which, by the way, the eeriness of this, the timing of this, the haunting manner that this comes out right now. What if the Secret Service deployed, and why don't they, for crying out loud? Somebody let me know in the comments down below. Why in the world did they not deploy drone technology yesterday? I could almost say without a shadow of hyperbole or exaggeration, if they had had drone technology yesterday, they would have spotted that nut job, okay, who wrote a book saying he was going to do everything, who's obviously a Kamala Harris supporter, a Biden Harris supporter. They found a Biden Harris bumper sticker on his truck in Hawaii. Why didn't they deploy that technology? Somebody make this make sense. We got the greatest mods in the business. Thank you, Laura Tilford, for being here. Thank you, Jim Barron. You are fantastic. MG in the house. Good to see you, China baby. Keenan, fantastic to see you guys. Why didn't they deploy that? Despite the fact that the would-be assassin used a drone. This guy, the assassin himself, used a drone to survey the rally site a mere hours before the attempted assassination. I mean, could you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation? What if this happened to Kamala Harris? What if this happened to Joe Biden? Do you think the left woke mob mafia media we'd ever hear the end of this? How many headlines would there be? Trump's violent rhetoric caused this. Trump lying to the American Trump MAGA extremists are the cause of this. We would never hear the end of it. They want this to go away. Thanks to people like Senator Hawley, thanks to people who are willing to put their life on the line, their credibility on the line, their popularity on the line for the truth, we have this. The Secret Service's Office of Protective Operations, Manpower, told agents in charge of security for the Butler rally not to request additional security resources because they would be denied. Why? Why did they not request that? You can still put in a request, But why didn't you put in a request, and why would they be denied? On July 13th, law enforcement personnel abandoned the rooftop. Now, we know that for a fact of American Glass Research Building 6, the roof from which Thomas Crooks attempted to assassinate the former president. And the reason was because of hot weather, because it was hot. Are you kidding me right now? Is this an absolute absurdist existential matrix nightmare that we're living in right now? What is this? By the way, all new members, all super chats and super stickers will give a live shout out at the end. Stick around. This is insane. The Secret Service's lead site agent on July 13th, the agent was, I thought there was a sloped roof too. They also blamed it on the roof being slow. Maybe he's going to mention that. The lead agent on July 13th, the agent with specific responsibility for the security of the rally site, including line of sight concerns, was known to be incompetent. Oh, fantastic. So not only did they not get rid of anybody after this failure of epic proportions of protecting one of the highest profile targets in the history of America, but this person had been incompetent for a long time, for a long duration. That incompetence led to the placement of items like flags around the Butler stage and catwalk, impairing visibility. It just gets worse and worse, folks. Supplementary Department of Homeland Security personnel were used to fill in shortages of Secret Service personnel on July 13th. Some DHS agents were pulled off child exploitation cases for this purpose. And the training they received was merely a poor quality 2-hour webinar. So imagine this. Imagine this. Oh my God, this is insane. Please, I'm begging you. I'm not telling you to do this for me. We need the whole world, especially all of our fellow citizens, to be aware of this. Tap the thumbs up. It takes you a nanosecond and it's free. This is how we get this information out there. It's not for me. I could give a rat's ass if you like it for me. It's not for vanity. When you tap the like button, it pushes out our video to more people. Leave a comment. You mean to tell me that they were short of staff, they were short of personnel, they knew this, and then they pulled off agents? You know, what about all the Secret Service personnel guarding Obama and George Bush and George W. Bush and et cetera, Nancy Pelosi, et cetera? You couldn't have just, maybe pulled one or two off of their detail? No, what they did was, no, those guys need to be protected. Of course not. No, what they did was they pulled them off of child exploitation cases. And if you're like me, and I know most of you guys have probably done this, I remember even at the university, watching these ridiculous, harassment videos, et cetera, these webinar training. Nobody pays attention to those. Nobody pays it. All we want to do, especially when they're dictated through HR, all we want to do is literally get right through them as fast as possible. I just click the fast forward thing every single time. Does anybody actually stick and watch and take notes during those webinars that are forced down your throat by bureaucratic admin HR directors? Let me know in the comments. Lando Calrissian says, nope. Neither do I, Lando. So that's all they got. So they didn't pay attention. They weren't trained. They were poorly informed. They had zero experience, zero skill set to deal with a situation of protecting a high-profile target. It's no wonder. I mean, it is literally a miracle from God that nothing happened to Trump. A miracle from God. Nothing short. These findings were published by Senator Hawley in a series of letters to executive branch officials, have been cited by members of Congress and news outlets, and have enhanced the public's understanding of what transpired on July 13th in Butler. In multiple cases, executive branch agencies have confirmed or corroborated whistleblower testimony. The findings have highlighted the need for swift and aggressive oversight action by the president and both houses of Congress. Executive branch agencies so far have not denied any of these allegations. What is more, on July 30th, Senator Hawley directly questioned, we have video of that, I shared video of that, I have an entire video showing that direct examination, Director Rowe about whistleblower allegations and in a hearing jointly held by the Senate Homeland Security and the GAC and Senate Judiciary. In addition, Senator Hawley is revealing several new findings from whistleblowers that have not yet been reported. The lead agent, here's bullet point 1, the lead agent responsible for the entire Butler visit, including the rally, failed a key examination. During their federal law enforcement training to become a Secret Service agent. Oh my goodness, this is so hard. It's so hard to bear down and learn of these findings because I just keep thinking, what would have happened? What could have happened? It was just incompetence, failure after failure after failure. Was it by design? Or was this just a case of absolute decimation of quality? I don't know. Secret Service intelligence units, teams of Secret Service agents paired with state and local law enforcement to handle reports of suspicious persons were absent. Secret Service intelligence units were absent from the Butler rally. Oh, get this. The hospital site where President Trump received treatment after the shooting was poorly secured. And the hospital site agent could not answer basic questions about site security. What on God's earth is happening here? To date, the Secret Service and DHS have provided virtually no answers, and there remain many outstanding questions. These include who within the Secret Service or DHS made the decision to deny counter sniper coverage to the rooftop from which Thomas Crooks shot former President Trump on July 13th. And again, the site of that rooftop, you can see here in this graph right here. You see where it says location of shooter's body. They had direct line of sight. Remember, there was all sorts of reports from actual rally attendees. Police and local authorities were notified before that. It is just unreal that this guy was able to get in position. It still makes absolutely no sense. I'm trying to find the photo, if I can, of that actual rooftop just for reference. And there you see Senator Hawley right here standing at the Butler Farm showgrounds pointing toward AGR Building 6. This is the ledge where Crooks was photographed by AGR building right there. He was photographed right there. There's another shot. View of the Building 6 shows the sloped roof, which they complained about. There's even more whistleblower tip line. Everybody take a screenshot right now. Whistleblowers are encouraged to contact Senator Hawley's office by email or by phone. Everybody take a screenshot of that right now. Record that. Write that down right now. Whistleblower identities will be protected against disclosure. Tips from federal employees are protected by Whistleblower Protection Act, which prohibits the federal government from taking any personnel action on the basis of a disclosure of evidence of gross mismanagement, gross waste of funds, abuse of authority, or illegal activity. Okay, let's go back. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. I can't believe this. I can't believe how bad this is. The hospital site, I can't believe it. When will Secret Service or DHS publicly name the lead site agent for the rally and the lead agent for the Butler visit? Why won't they name this? Oh, we have an ongoing investigation. That's their answer every single time. Well, guess what? It's been 60 days plus. It's been 60 days plus. The American public deserves answers. Half this country is devoted to getting our country back. Over half. I'm sure it's at least a little bit over half. Maybe 53 to 54% of the country, of the 50 million people in our country, give or take, are devoted to getting this man back in office so they can afford groceries, so they can afford their bills, so they can afford the bare necessities, their energy bill. They can afford groceries, food, gas, rent, mortgage. They can have secure borders. They can take their kids outside without the fear of all the high skyrocketing crime rates. So they can actually take their kids down to the park without fear of crime, and which has absolutely gone crazy in our country. So they can afford to take their kids on vacation. So they can feel like there is a semblance of an America left. Because right now it doesn't feel like that. And it hasn't felt like that for 4 years. If you're with me on that, give me a yeah in the comments right now. Okay, we continue. Did the acting Secret Service director ever deny resources to the Trump campaign or USS counter sniper teams, as has been reported in the press? Senator Hawley has consistently demanded accountability, calling on former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle to resign and demanding that acting Director Rowe terminate those responsible for the security failures. I don't understand. When somebody does a poor job, you usually let them go. Why is this administration? Biden hasn't let go of one person. Trump talked about this in the debate. He's talked about this on many, many interviews and podcasts, etc., press conferences. When somebody doesn't do a good job, he fires them and finds somebody else. That's called good business. That's called good management. That's called efficient operations. I mean, this administration hasn't gotten rid of anybody. It's ridiculous. Let these failures get away with. This is why. Remember, earlier in this report, they said this guy had been incompetent for a long time. Why is he still there? What happened to America? The best person for the job. The best idea wins. What happened to a meritocracy? Am I alone here? Am I nuts? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm nuts. I'll concede that. And will continue to do so in the months to go. He has also written letters to Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas to investigate the department failures. So, holy macadamia nut. There's background here on Thomas Crooks, the timeline of events, which actually, this is interesting. Crooks takes father's AR rifle, buys 50 rounds of ammunition and ladder, drives to rally, 426, local counter sniper, texts colleagues about someone who snuck in and parked by our cars. I mean, this is literally hours before the incident. Then he's videotaped outside the perimeter by public. They actually identify him at 5:10 as being suspicious. He's on his cell phone and in possession of a rangefinder. Has anybody ever gone to a Trump rally with a rangefinder? I mean, that is nuts. That is absurd. Why in the world wasn't this guy accosted, questioned, at the very least questioned? Who are you? What are you doing here? Why do you have this? Come with us. We need to talk. At 5:38, photos of Crooks shared in law enforcement group chats. State or local law enforcement discuss Crooks with rangefinder. I did see him with a rangefinder towards... This is, by the way, this is not Secret Service. This is local law enforcement. If you want to notify the SS snipers to look out, I lost sight of him. Again, he's a witness with a rangefinder at 5:51 p.m. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And then they still let him take the stage. They actually let President Trump take the stage at 6:03 p.m. How in the world does that make sense? I guarantee you, everybody who attended that rally, even if they drove from long distances, would have understood. If they would have said, sorry, folks, President Trump is unable to take the stage. We've got a couple of security issues. We want everybody to remain still, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I guarantee you, because that's what Trump supporters are. We are true blue, red-blooded Americans. And we want our president to get back in office where he belongs so we can make our country great again, period. They again observe him on the AGR building at 6:08 after President Trump has taken the stage. Butler Township police officers attempt to climb the roof. Secret Service say they were aware locals were working on an issue. This is unbelievable. You know what? It might just be. This guy might just have acted alone. There is enough here to kind of suggest, I'm not saying it's 100%, not even close. There's still a lot of evidence that would possibly lead to a lot of damning proof that he did not act alone. However, the incompetence is like nuclear. This is nuclear incompetence. It's like you've got a bunch of Taco Bell cops guarding literally the most important person on the planet right now, the most targeted, the most polarizing figure in American history, who has literally caused a brand new disease called TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. I don't know about you guys watching. Let me know in the comments. I know plenty of people, even family members, who've got a strong case of TDS. Let me know in the comments if you know somebody who has TDS. Approximately 24 seconds later, I was live when this happened. Many of you guys were with us. Crooks begins firing his AR-15 style rifle. FBI assesses he fired 8 rounds total. How did he get 8 rounds off? He killed a rally attendee, wounded and injured others, and wounded President Trump. Since July 13th, many credible whistleblowers have approached Senator Hawley with pertinent information. On July 19th, the Butler rally was treated as a loose security event. Senator Hawley wrote a letter to Senator Mayorkas regarding credible allegations from a whistleblower with direct knowledge of the Butler event. Here are the allegations. The whistleblower alleged that the July 13th rally was considered to be, quote, loose. What the hell does that mean? Security event. Specifically, they alleged the following. Detection canines were not deployed to monitor entry and detect threats in the usual manner. Why? Individuals without proper designations were able to gain access to backstage areas? What the? This is just, it's just absolutely causing a volcano to go off in my chest. DHS personnel failed to properly police the 5-foot security buffer near the stage and allowed people to move barricades around the buffer. I just don't get it. I just honestly do not get this at all. DHS personnel were not stationed at regular intervals around the security perimeter. The whistleblower further alleged that the majority of DHS personnel working the rally were agents within the department's Homeland Security Investigations team. They alleged that the HSI agents were unfamiliar with standard security protocols used at campaign events. I just get this feeling, you guys, that since this is Biden's, cabinet, since these are all Biden appointees, and probably Kamala, has a lot to do with it too, but this is literally, and by the way, we all know Biden and Kamala have zero control. They're just minions. They're just mindless puppets. So the Soros, Clinton, Obama cabal, the consortium, really picked this cabinet. I'm sure word came down. You know what? Just, it's Trump. It doesn't really matter. Put your Kmart cops on Trump. All the people that we know can do a really, really good job. Put them on Obama, put them on Biden, put them on Kamala. But for Trump, just leave the Kmart cops for Trump. I get this feeling, right? Never mind the conspiratorial aspect of this. Never mind the fact that this definitely has a lot of evidence that is congruent with some type of orchestration. I've said this before. There's just so much mounting evidence. Hawley has discovered it. So many other people have discovered it. But it just feels like, am I wrong? It just feels like, yeah, give all the Kmart cops to Trump. It doesn't matter. It's Trump. Who cares? Information requested and response. In his July 19th letter, Senator Hawley requested the following information. How did DHS determine to staff the event, including any decision to rely on state or local officers? What percentage of the DHS agents at the event were from HSI rather than the USSS? Were a majority of officers of the event drawn from HSI or other DHS components rather than the USSS? If so, why? Were HSI agents properly trained in staffing these types of events? I could almost unequivocally say no. Did gaps exist in the security perimeter, and were the usual protocols followed for the use of canines and magnetometers? Magnetometers. Say that 5 times in a row. Were agents not appropriately stationed around the podium? Were the standard protocols followed for issuing designated pins to vetted personnel that are allowed backstage? I mean, these are pertinent questions. How did agents physically spend on the ground surveying the site? How long did they spend surveying the site before the event? Did any paperwork obligations prevent a longer and more robust site survey? DHS has thus far failed to provide any answers to Senator Hawley's requests. If that doesn't raise eyebrows, if that doesn't raise alarming red flags, I don't know what does, my fellow Americans. On July 22nd, law enforcement abandoned the roof because it was too hot. I mean, come on, can you imagine? Can you imagine anybody from any generational war prior to this or any detail prior to this? I mean, it's like, can you imagine somebody, storming Normandy and saying, I had a chance to take out the Mein Führer, but I don't know, the sand was too hot. Could you imagine anybody from America's best generation, supposedly, allegedly, saying something like that? Could you imagine the consequences? I mean, maybe that's not the best comparison, but it for some reason, this reeks. If this statement right here, the roof was too hot, is an actual security protocol. So temperature of roofs determines security detail? Make it make sense, because that sounds like one of the most absurd reasons, and so does a sloped roof. It sounds like one of the most absurd reasons to refuse to secure a location. It was too hot. You got to be kidding me, folks. This is an absurdist nightmare. On July 22nd, Senator Hawley wrote a letter to Mayorkas regarding credible allegations from a whistleblower with knowledge of Secret Service planning for the Butler event. Here are the allegations. This is such a hot report, you guys. I mean, this is, if you're loving this, when I say loving this, I'm not loving discovering this information. But what I'm loving is that the truth is coming out, because the American public deserves this truth. This is so damning. It's insane. The whistleblower alleged that there was supposed to be a law enforcement presence on the roof on AGR Building 6, the roof from which Thomas Crooks attempted to assassinate former president. They alleged that at least one individual was posted to the roof of AGR Building 6 for the duration of the rally, but the post was abandoned because of the hot weather. The whistleblower further alleged that concerns over the heat prompted law enforcement to station personnel inside Building 6 rather than on patrol. Okay, even though that sounds awful and abysmal, you put them inside the building. Okay, fine. You can still see the roof, can you not? Couldn't you still see Thomas Crooks bearing down and getting into position to fire? At the July 30 Senate hearing, Senator Hawley directly questioned Acting Director Rowe regarding this. Rowe acknowledged that he heard the same report and stated that law enforcement posted up inside. He added, I think moving forward, we're going to ensure that state and local countersnipers are on roofs. I can't believe this is real. I just can't believe this is real. Senator Hawley continued to press for a direct answer on whether law enforcement abandoned their post, and Rowe said he did not know that to be a fact. You're the acting director of the Secret Service, and your response is he did not know that to be a fact? He asked him, why don't you know that? He says, we're looking into this. I can't believe this. Now, former Director Cheadle previously testified before the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability that the roof was not covered with an individual because there was overwatch provided. This answer contradicted her previous public statements that the decision not to place law enforcement was because the roof was too sloped. What's the truth? Is it sloped? Is it hot? Inside? Outside? Do you man roofs? Do you not man roofs? There is a roof 150 yards away from one of the highest profile targets in the history of our country, and you're going to tell me that that doesn't warrant usual systemic protocol to man and secure that roof? This is absolute bat beep crazy. Local law enforcement has disputed the whistleblower's report that law enforcement abandoned the post, stating that we're assigned to be inside the building at windows to begin with. But on August 8th, a Wall Street Journal report suggested there was miscommunication between the Secret Service and local law enforcement regarding security plans for AGR Building 6, and that the heat did factor. I can't believe this. After 10 minutes, about 10 minutes after the shooting, another officer arriving at the warehouse said to a fellow officer, "I thought you guys were on the roof. I thought it was you. I thought it was you." I actually have video footage of this in a previous video that I published regarding this. I actually published this. Why were they not on the roof? Why were they not on the roof? Right here. Why were they not on the roof? Why? Where were we? Federal law enforcement officials have said the Secret Service thought local law enforcement officers, including snipers from Butler County Emergency Services, were supposed to secure the building. However, a local law enforcement official involved in the event planning previously said the tactical team's heads told the Secret Service during the walkthrough that its snipers would be inside the building on its second floor. Butler's team didn't want the snipers on the roof because they would have been exposed to temperatures over 90 degrees throughout the day, the official said. Okay, 90 degrees is hot, but we're not talking like 110, 115, unbearable. I've been in 90-degree weather, even humid 90-degree weather. It's bearable. This is your job, for crying out loud. What in the world is going on? Relatedly, on July 23rd, the commissioner of the Pennsylvania State Police, Colonel Christopher Paris, testified before the House Homeland Security Committee that there were at least 2 law enforcement officers in the second floor window overlooking the roof of AGR Building 6, but those officers left to track down the shooter? The Butler County District Attorney had disputed this claim, calling it a misstatement. He asserted that only one counter sniper briefly left the building to search for Crooks, but returned to his post. The Pennsylvania State Police stated that it stands by Colonel Paris's testimony. Information requested and response. In his July 22nd letter, Senator Hawley requested the following information. And let me guess. You guys can already read what I can read. They failed to provide any answers to these requests. Why did they abandon the post? Why weren't they assigned to the roof? Why did they fail to report to their assigned stations that day? Excuse me. Another allegation. Another whistleblower said the night before the rally, Secret Service personnel repeatedly denied offers from local law enforcement partner to utilize drone technology. Why? The whistleblower further alleged that after the shooting took place, Secret Service personnel changed course and asked the local partner to deploy the drone technology to surveil the site in the aftermath of the attack. The day before Senator Hawley published these allegations, FBI Christopher Wray, the director, confirmed in his testimony before the HJC that Thomas Crooks used a drone to survey the site in preparation for his attack. In fact, Wray confirmed that the shooter was operating the drone approximately 2 hours before Trump took the stage. Senator Hawley wrote that it was hard to understand why personnel declined the drones offered to them, particularly in light of Wray's testimony. At the July 30th hearing, Hawley directly questioned Rowe regarding this. Rowe confirmed that there was an offer to fly the drone on that day. Why was the offer denied, asked Hawley. He replied, "I think the ability of local law enforcement to provide an asset, we probably should have taken them up on it if it was offered." Oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe this. And then obviously he tried to get some information he tried to get some information about this, and they have failed to provide any records. No records. Every request for information, every request for records, they have failed to provide this. We haven't had an assassination attempt like this in over 50 years, at least 45 plus years. And you mean to tell me you cannot provide these records? You cannot provide this information? Another allegation. On August 1st, a whistleblower alleged that the Secret Service's Counter-Surveillance Division, the unit that performs the threat assessment before the event occurs, did not perform its typical evaluation of the Butler site. You guys, just when you think it can't get any worse, why in the world? Is this just coincidence? Is this just coincidence that of all the rallies, this is the one that they fail time after time after time, incident after incident after incident to provide the traditional security protocols that are in place for a good reason? What's going on here? The whistleblower alleged that Acting Director Rowe personally directed significant cuts. Wow. The whistleblower also alleged retaliation against those who expressed concern about the security at President Trump's events. So Rowe basically says, if you talk, you're gone. If you even mention anything about Trump's detail and the fact that we're doing a crap job, you're out of here. That's essentially what that means. The whistleblower claimed that following an event with the former president at a golf tournament in August of last year, Secret Service personnel expressed serious concern that law enforcement used for event security were not properly trained or otherwise prepared to execute the tasks assigned to them. Further, Secret Service personnel expressed alarm that individuals were admitted to the event without vetting. The whistleblower alleged that those who raised such concern faced retaliation. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Biden-Harris cabinet. This is how they think. We're for the people. We're for the people. I'm here for all Americans, except for MAGA and Donald Trump. I'm for all Americans. What a bunch of BS. They don't listen to me. Listen to me very, very carefully, okay, everybody? I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again. I know these people. I've worked with these people. I've been commissioned by universities to go work in Washington, and I've actually collaborated, if you could call it that, with these people. I've looked inside their souls. They don't care about anything. Hey, party of two. Hey, ding, 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 alarm bells. Hey, alert, alert. They don't care. They don't care. Newsflash. They don't give a rat's ass. Trust me. I know these people. I've looked inside their souls. It's a black crater. They don't care at all. I know them too well. This is why I got out of there. In an August 2nd press conference, Acting Director Rowe was asked directly about the whistleblower report. Rowe acknowledged that he heard the report and said the Secret Service would respond to the letter. He stated that CSD personnel, when requested, go out and support former president's details, but did not say whether CSD was present at the Butler rally. When asked in a follow-up question whether he cut funding personally, Rowe stated he did not. And as usual, Senator Hawley tried to get some information, and the DHS has not provided any of the information. Wow. Another allegation. One whistleblower alleged that the Secret Service's lead site agent, the agent with specific responsibility for the security of the rally site, was known to lack competence and experience. So you can imagine, if you've ever worked in corporate America or ever worked for any bureaucracy at all, which I have, everybody talks behind this guy's back. Oh, God, Johnny's in the lead. Johnny's a complete Momo. Johnny wouldn't know security from a ham and cheese sandwich, right? And this guy or gal, probably, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of reports that there's a lot of, Kimberly Cheadle, instead of actually hiring the best person for the job, she says, I'm trying to, go DEI. She's a super, super advocate, not just a regular advocate, a super advocate of DEI, which is why I keep saying time and time again, DEI kills. The whistleblower claimed that this agent was responsible for the mitigating the line of sight concerns at the Butler site. You see, ladies and gentlemen, DEI kills. A separate whistleblower alleged that the lead site agent personally made decisions that likely compromised the overall security of the event. For example, campaign materials such as flags were permitted to be placed around the stage and catwalk used by the former president, despite the fact that these items were typically prohibited because of how they affected the line of sight. I mean, a simple thing as that was completely overlooked or neglected. This is gross negligence. The Secret Service also did not check IDs when issuing credentials that authorize access to restricted areas, contrary to typical practice. It's absolutely insanity. I tried to get all this information, Senator Hawley said, and of course they have not provided any information. Another allegation. According to the whistleblower, the lead advance agent for a trip involving protection of specific individual typically submits a manpower request to the local field office. This normally includes a number of personnel and other security assets needed for the event. The whistleblower alleged that officials within this office preemptively informed the Pittsburgh field office that the Butler rally was not going to receive additional security resources because Trump is a former president. Can you believe this? This is particularly damning and unbelievably incriminating because of what was said yesterday by the local officials who gave the press conference when they said, why wasn't there anybody surrounding the perimeter? And what was the response? He's not the sitting president. And then President Biden today said, yeah, I think we need to give him more personnel. I think we're talking about that. What on earth? What on earth? This is a tragedy. This isn't a comedy of errors. It is a tragedy of errors. It is a tragedy of epic proportions. It is a travesty that the United States of America would treat a former and more than likely future American president of the United States like this. This is capital T treason, is what this is. According to the whistleblower, Manpower requests did not include extra security resources because agents on the ground were told not to ask for them in the first place. Unbelievable. When asked during the July 30 Senate hearing whether former President Trump's team had been denied resources, Director Rose stated, if you're talking about Butler, all assets requested were approved. But according to the whistleblower, this was denied. All of this was denied. Senator Hawley asked about all this information, and the DHS has not provided any information. We're 60 days. How many days since the 60 plus change days since the assassination attempt in July 13th? And he just had another one yesterday, and you haven't provided any information? New allegations. Another whistleblower alleged that the only training received by many HSI agents reassigned to work protective details was a single 2-hour webinar on Microsoft Teams. The whistleblower further alleged that HSI agents were pulled off of child exploitation cases in order to serve on protective details for which they were unprepared. Senator Hawley's letter noted previous whistleblower reports that HSI agents outnumbered Secret Service. So these two agents, they don't have the same level and capacity and training. And when you are a former president of the United States or current or what have you, Secret Service agents are the ones that you want, not HSI agents. Senator Hawley requested information. How many HSI agents were present? How many were trained? Has the training been revamped in any way? Since this is an important question. Have they reformed or revamped the training since July 13th? Have HSI agents been reassigned? The DHS has provided no information. I can't believe this. New whistleblower allegations. The lead agent responsible for the entire Butler visit failed key examinations. Secret Service intelligence units were absent from the Butler rally. How does that make sense? Deployment of these units would have mitigated poor communication between different law enforcement components, and the hospital site where former President Trump received treatment after the shooting was poorly secured. So imagine this. Imagine if it was a team of snipers or a group of individuals, right? So one of them would have known, or a couple of them would have known somehow through the grapevine, one of them would have known they failed their mission. They could have easily have gone down to the hospital because it was so poorly secured and finished the job. Can you believe this, my fellow Americans? Can you believe this is our country? Outstanding questions. Senator Hawley's investigation shed new light on the preparations for Butler rally and details about how the day unfolded. Who within the Secret Service made the decision to deny counter-sniper coverage? Who within the Secret Service was responsible for approving the communications plan? Who within the Secret Service was responsible for supervising law enforcement on July 13th? Who made the decision to assign the site agent? On what basis was this decision made? Who specifically made the decision to assign the lead agent to the Butler visit? Did any law enforcement agents or counter-sniper teams abandon their assigned posts at any AGR building? How did Crooks access this roof? Did local law enforcement fire a weapon at Crooks? Has it been reported? We've requested additional resources. Conclusion. 2 months have now elapsed since President Trump was nearly assassinated. One just happened yesterday, an attempt. The Secret Service, FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security have not been forthcoming with the American people. Far from it. They have closed ranks, refused to confirm or deny whistleblower allegations, and resisted meaningful oversight. In fact, sources with direct knowledge have alleged to Senator Hawley that the Department of Homeland Security is leaning on Secret Service to not comply. So not only are they not executing their obligation, their duty to divulge information, they're actually doing the opposite. They're trying to lean on each other, and they're trying to hush. They're trying to make sure that suppression is their main course of action right now. Can you believe this? Instead, it has been left to courageous whistleblowers to tell the story of what really happened. Senator Hawley promises to continue to fight for the American people who deserve the truth. Holy macadamia nut. Then you have an appendix of articles. By the way, I will leave a link to this PDF. I will leave a link to this PDF in the description of this video. If anybody wants to see and read this in full, I'm going to post this right now in the description. Oh my gosh, is this scary or is this scary? I am just beside myself right now. I am absolutely beside myself right now. Thank God nothing happened to President Trump. God bless President Trump. Thank God for Senator Josh Hawley. I've said this before. Watching some of his drillings of dishonest CEOs, dishonest agency directors and leaders, and watching him grill and get the truth, I think he is he's the stuff. He's the good stuff that leaders are born from. He should definitely make a run in 2028, if not soon thereafter. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. You gotta stay tuned. Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter. It's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. This is your guaranteed, sure-proof way of never missing out on everything that you think the fake woke mafia media is going to cover this. Heck no. Definitely not. They're not going to cover it. You only get that here. I do my own due diligence, my own qualitative and quantitative research. My wife is the most brilliant researcher on the planet, 10 times more brilliant than I am. We are an independent media organization, grassroots, here to get our country back. That is the aim of this channel, to get our country back. And so sign up for our free newsletter. It's free, for crying out loud. It's free. Make sure you tap that thumbs up. I want to give a shout out to Diana Phipps. Welcome for being a new member. New members get top priority in our live Q&A. Live stream giveaways. I gave away over $300 worth of Amazon gift cards in our last live stream giveaway. And you also get access to our members only Discord. Holy macadamia nut. Come on in. Welcome. Welcome. Jim Barron, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Jim Barron is the best mod in the business with Laura Tilford and others. I love you guys. We have the best mods here at Nez Nation. Thank you so much. Diana Phipps, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Thank you for all you do. God bless you. It is my pleasure, and thank you for being here. Tap the thumbs up. Jim Barron, you're amazing. The man, the myth, the legend, JB. Thank you so much, JB. I appreciate you. Thank you for gifting another membership. Get in contact with JB or Laura, and also go in our community tab. You will see a post for members only. If you're a member on our channel, you will see a community tab post which has the link to the members only Discord. It is a thriving, fun, amazing community. I'm in there myself. Come hang out with us. Become a member. I mean, it only costs you a cup of coffee a month to be a member. You're supporting the greatest channel on planet Earth to get our country back. If you love our country, I mean, a cup of coffee a month, you spend more than that in 5 seconds every single morning. It's just a cup of coffee a month. Like I need more coffee. Thank you, JB. You're the best. Carrie Blackwood, thank you so much for the super sticker. God bless you, Carrie. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bernie Cifoletti, bravo, prego. How are you, Bernie? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I've been saying that all day, Professor, that if it went the other way, could you imagine if this happened to Kamala? Could you imagine if they treated Kamala like this? Could you imagine if they neglected their job like this with Kamala? Could you imagine if they allowed this nut job on a golf course where Kamala was playing? Could you imagine? We'd never hear the end of it. They want us to forget this. I don't like to be negative. I'm an eternal optimist. And we will work through this, but these are scary, dangerous times. There's just no doubt about that. Psychological projectionist, thank you so much for the $2 pound. Thank you. £2, I guess. The Dems are projecting they are the real threat. 100%. 100%. Thank you, psychological projectionist. Salty, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Salty. You're amazing. There's Peter Ortiz. I was waiting for you, brother. Good to see you, Peter. Hawley has balls. We need more like him. Yes, we need balls back in our country. We need people like TR, Theodore Roosevelt, like Trump. People who are not afraid to say the truth. People who are not afraid to do the right thing, even if it's unpopular or it triggers you. Oh, you triggered me. You triggered me. Don't trigger me. That's the cackler, Kamala. Thank you, Welder Gaming 303 for the $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. You rock. Appreciate all of you. So huge breaking news. Again, if you're just joining us, Senator Hawley, hit rewind, hit replay it. We just went through the entire report, and it is absolutely demonstrative and divulges everything that we were scared and worried about with these agencies. We must hold them accountable. We deserve this. Taxpayer, American citizens, hardworking Americans deserve transparency. So make sure you share this with everybody. We need to get this, make this spread and go viral. Thank you, CTX50, for the $20 super chat. Keep kicking ass, Professor. Thank you. Thank you so much, CTX. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much those comments mean to me, because I'm a human being just like everybody else. And so every human being has those moments where they doubt themselves, or am I doing a good enough job? I always, I'm the hardest dude on myself. And I can't tell you how many times a video has come out and I kind of cringe. I go, oh, I should have done this differently, that differently. Everybody loves the video, but I myself, I'm always hard on myself. So these comments really, really mean the world to me. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. So guys, we're also going live tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. President Donald Trump is going live on X. By the way, if you haven't already, follow me on X. The link is in the show notes and description, but I'm going to put it in the comments right now just in case you haven't, because I post a lot of stuff on X that I can't post anywhere else. Make sure you follow me on X. It's just, if you just go on X and search Professor Nez, or I have the direct link right there, make sure you follow me. But Trump is going to be going live on X Spaces tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. We are going to go live and we're going to hang out. It's his first time talking. And when he's on X, he's very loose. It's going to be like a podcast. It's live. It's real. It's authentic. We're going to be there with you guys. We're going to be live as well. I can't wait to see you guys there. So make sure you subscribe, sign up for our free newsletter, tap the thumbs up. And as always, may God bless you. May God bless Donald Trump, President Donald Trump.